Hey everybody, welcome back. Today's video for mindset is really getting yourself to believe something different about food. So the relationship that we have with food is amazing. Actually, I can smell the smoke coming off the smoker. We got 3 racks of ribs tonight for my little girl's birthday. So she loves meat on the bone. She just has my heart. And there's something that's going to happen when I have these ribs. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to feel all of the love of heaven pouring out onto my soul. That's what I'm going to feel like when I have some ribs tonight. So we have these very emotional connections with food. You can think about some of the stuff that your grandma used to make, or some of those comforting things that we put into our body. And really what's happening is when we ingest food, is what's happening is that there are signals for your hormones to respond to a certain degree. You're basically sending your genetic code information in order to be deciphered, and we've put a lot of crazy variables in those messages and have ingested things that our body doesn't know what to do with. And I think nutrition and wellness can be a pretty confusing domain, because so many people say so many different things. Well, what is the truth? The truth is that our bodies are very adaptable to a lot of different nutritional approaches, whether that's paleo, Atkins, you got the zone diet, you've got keto, you've got whole foods, you've got a Mediterranean diet, you've got an autoimmune diet. I mean, there's all of these different things that we've got to figure out what really works for us. But we're not going to go into all of those things. Really, all we're going to do today is just talk about portion sizes and plate ratios. So instead of thinking calories in, calories out, it's not a sustainable way to do life. Really what you want to do is you want to be very nutrient dense and have plenty of protein in your diet and some healthy fats. So I've been a huge fan of paleo, Whole30, and the keto diets. I've never tried the carnivore. That just sounds a little too expensive for my taste, but man, steak all the time sounds good. But really it's about switching over to a very nutrient dense diet. So when we talked about, hey, get rid of bad fats, get rid of grains, and get rid of sugars, I'm not against natural sugars. I'm not against carbs. Carbs are found in stuff like this. I've got all these veggies. Look at this. I want you to, you know what? If I tip this plate so that you can see it really well, that's not going to be very, you know what? Let me just give you a little bit of a glimpse here. I'm so glad that I put this tripod on a table with holes, because now I'm just battling this thing. All right, I want you to see this. All right, you see this thing? I got about a little over half of my plate has veggies in it. I've got about a cupped hand worth of some carbs that are pretty dense in antioxidants and nutrients and micronutrients. Oh my God, I'm back. I was wrestling with this tripod. This thing's like putting its legs through these little holes that are in the table. Anyways, what I want to be visualizing on my plate is a half, or maybe a little over a half, maybe even 2/3 of just rich, nutrient-dense veggies, whether that be Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and broccoli. Those are what are called cruciferous vegetables, or leafy greens. And let's get some color in there, and let's just really kind of have a diversified, nutrient-dense plate that is going to be pretty to look at and yummy to eat. So I like to get half of a plate there, about a cupped hand's worth of carbs, whether you're doing sweet potatoes, you could even do white potatoes, but I try to stay towards things that are a little bit lower on the glycemic index. And then I do about a palm's worth of protein. I don't even know if is it this palm, or are my fingers included? Because I always take my fingers, I add that onto it, and then maybe a couple more. But when I'm doing this, I'm only doing one layer, right? Like, I'm not stacking this stuff on top of each other so that I can just get my fill. But I do, my goal for you at the end of these 21 days is that you would really have this stuff dialed in. Like, I want to have some leafy greens, I'm going to have a little bit of fruit, but probably about a cupped hand's worth, and I'm going to get my protein in. And do not be deceived by the dressings that you put on. You're like, yeah, you know what? This stuff said organic, it said all natural, and it's filled with soybean oil. You know, it's filled with these super inflammatory things. So I like extra virgin olive oil and some balsamic vinegar. I sprinkle that on. Maybe I put a little, feta cheese on. But then also, if you want a really good salad dressing, Primal Kitchen, I mean, basically, Mark Sisson has absolutely figured out how to make super healthy stuff really tasty, like condiments and all that. Primal Kitchen, if you go on Thrive Market, or you can find this stuff on Amazon, or maybe Whole Foods or whatever. So that's your tip for today. Don't think calories in, calories out. Think about your plate ratios. What are the messages that I'm sending my DNA? What are the messages that I'm sending to my body that are actually evoking hormonal responses? And what kind of hormonal responses do I want? No more empty calories, no more, cheeseburger, pizza sandwiches. I've made one of those before. No more hot fudge sundaes on your waffle for breakfast. Let's start eating some whole foods, some things that are really good for you and that are gonna make you feel amazing.